I'll mute myself.
Nice. Hey team, how we doing? Welcome to the party. We are just waiting for our friend Scott, and then we will make a start on this session where Scott Herman is going to tell me how to become a Gymshark athlete, basically, because this is like a really important part of my life now, moving forward. Guys, stop spamming Binod in every stream. It's an old meme that has died already. So mature yourselves and stop acting like 3-year-old kids. Like, seriously, move on from that stuff. It's kind of old and annoying. I'm inclined to agree. But hey, what can you do? What can you do? Alrighty. Alrighty, y'all. I don't understand what's happening. Has Scott accepted the invite? The calendar invite? Ooh, no, he hasn't. Maybe he's forgotten that this is happening. Quite possibly. Aha! There we go. Okay, I can add him to the call. Le call.
Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, Scott. How's it going?
Good. Just give me 1 second.
Yep, sure. I will just put some headphones on as well.
Well, I'm booting up my my computer. 1 second.
Nice. Sure.
Decided to do an update, obviously, right before a meeting.
Always happens.
You have a nice, colorful room there.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that's my vibe. Try and go for the colorfuls. Now, how do I? There we go. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Scene one.
What is this? Go away! I don't want Microsoft Office.
We're live, by the way. So I just just so you know.
Oh.
So say hi.
I got my computer. Hey, what's up, everyone?
Everyone in the chat says hi. I think lots of people are impressed by the amount of packs you have on your abs. So
I think that's impressive. Check out my pop collection. What?
bloody hell! My goodness.
Yeah, I'm in my game room right now.
Oh my goodness. I had no idea you were so into gaming.
Yeah. I'm a completionist. Like I have OCD,
Oh
so
my
if I play
goodness.
Zelda, I can't stop until I find everything.
Nice.
And I'm my generation was like, before everyone just went online to figure out all the codes. So like I like to do it myself. All right. Here we go. Get my microphone. Okay. Look at you. Crystal clear.
I don't see you. You've gone off the thing.
Oh, you know why it's not showing my camera? Because it's not on.
Oh, that explains it.
There we go.
Oh, you're here. Ooh,
Yeah, man.
that's a very nice camera. I think you're like the best quality we've ever had on one of these live streams.
Well, I do aim to please. Well, because I'm a Call of Duty, so I gotta, look the part when I'm get headshots and running.
Of course, mate. Of course. Okay, cool. I'm just setting up all of our scenes. Number 1, number 2, number 3. Great, Scott. Thank you very much for joining us on the deep dive. How are you doing today?
Last night, which probably wasn't the best thing to do, but I got some friends that live on like 3-4 hours behind me because they're on the West Coast, and we were doing some streaming, and we kept getting in games with hackers, which made us more angry and wanted to play longer to beat them. Yeah, and then I went to bed late. And then I can't just like game and then go to bed, so I had to watch a few episodes of an anime that just came out with a new season. So then I was up even later than I should have because of that. But I'm here now, so I'm feeling good. How about yourself?
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good as well. I'm just gonna say it sounds like you really are living a dream life, like gaming, anime, fitness. Like, which anime was it that you were watching?
So they just came out with a new season for an anime called "Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon?" And it's basically an anime, and in the first season, you know, there's this town where everybody lives, and there's a dungeon there, and there's guilds, and each guild is run by a different Olympian god. And this one kid becomes an adventurer, and you know, no one wants him in their guild. I don't want to give away too many spoilers in case anybody wants to give it away, but basically, like, he's a chosen.
Oh, hang on, Scott. I think you might have the wrong microphone plugged into Skype. We're getting a lot of low quality audio from your end, and it looks like you have a fancy one. Yeah, I can't hear you at all now.
1 second.
No, that's not doing anything.
It's not. Thank you, Skype. Oh, here we go. Blue icicle. There you go.
Oh, yes. Music to my ears.
Sorry about that.
That is beautiful.
But anyways, it's a really cool anime. So he meets a girl in the dungeon, you know, and she ends up like saving him, and she keeps saving him, which makes him like super embarrassed. So he wants to like get good enough to go into the dungeon with her and not always be saved by her. But anyway, it's a cool anime. I watch probably like 20 animes at once. I have a problem. As you can see from behind me.
So what's your top 3 animes of all time, if you had to pick?
Well, everybody loves Dragon Ball, so that's obviously one of them. Gurren Lagann is one of my top animes of all time. That anime will get you like ready to go work out. I think even more than Dragon Ball Z. It's like if you could get seizures from too much light, you know, trauma, you would get seizures from this anime. It's so hardcore.
Yeah.
You know what's cool about this anime is one character who ends up dying within the first couple of episodes, but he's so iconic that he's like one of the most loved characters out of like all of the anime because he's just so like in your face. So that one, and then another one of my favorites is Sword Art Online.
Oh, yes, I really like that.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, you know, there's a little incest kind of like tones in the beginning, but if you just look past that, it's not his fault.
Yeah, you know, it's like with Game of Thrones. You can look past the incest, and then it's a pretty good show.
Yeah. I mean, the story. I mean, it's really a love story between him and Asuna. You know,
Yeah.
And they're like battling to try to stay alive, and then find each other in the real world after. It's just really cool.
Yeah, I thought Sword Art Online got a lot less interesting once they got together.
I liked season 2.
Yeah.
Season 2 was kind of a battle. Alicization was pretty good. It just kind of brought a whole new dynamic to it. You know, obviously they're trying to bridge that gap between, you know, the real world and the digital world, and because they're bringing their daughter obviously in through like that contraption that he makes.
Yeah.
But then they actually, have you watched Alicization yet?
No, I haven't seen that.
So they Ironclad. I forget the name of the company. No, whatever. The company that does all like the game itself. Yeah. He goes into like a whole other world, and they're basically creating artificial intelligence from like birth. So they created programs that had like families, and then grew up in their own town. So to them, they don't even know that they're digital or created. And the whole point of Alicization is to bring one of those souls from the game into the real world, and they do it. It's pretty cool.
Have you read/seen Ready Player One?
I've watched that movie probably like 30 times.
Oh, the sequel of the book just came out like literally 2 weeks ago. Ready Player Two.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's really good. I'd recommend the book as well. The book is very different to the film. It's like the same premise, the whole Halliday's Easter egg hunt, but the different tasks are completely different in the book compared to the film.
So there's more Easter eggs.
There's like tons and tons and tons of references in it. I missed most of them, but everyone I know who's read it and appreciates like 80s references. I was like, oh my god, best thing ever.
I really enjoyed the first movie, but the more you watch it, like the more unrealistic, obviously. Like people, like there's no way people running down the street like they're in the game, like they're not gonna get hit by oncoming traffic or bump into each other or like hit each other, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he really raises the stakes in Ready Player 2. So I finished that just a few days ago. It was very good.
That's awesome. I'll definitely check it out. I didn't even know that they were making a second one.
Yeah, I didn't either. It just came up out of the blue. I was just like, whoa, what the hell? I just got a Kindle notification saying Ready Player 2 is out. And I was like, hell yes, this is my jam.
How long does it normally take you to read an entire book?
If it's as gripping as Ready Player 1 was, usually like 2 nights. Like I'll start reading at 11 p.m. and then I'll stay up until 4 o'clock in the morning reading. And then I'll think, okay, I really should sleep now, and then I'll just finish it the next day. So that's my vibe for like very, very addictive books. But
I used to be like that with like Goosebumps when I was a kid. Like I'd read a whole Goosebumps
those were
book
so good.
like in a day or so,
Those are fantastic.
Not that the generation now even knows what that is. Like they don't
Goosebumps. What the hell is Goosebumps?
Yeah.
Yeah, those are really good.
I still remember like the smell those books had. Had like a very specific smell for some reason.
Oh, I don't think I ever got my hands on a new one. I would always just get them out of the library and read them in a random order.
Okay, yeah.
And it's only now that I have, I can spend money on books, and I'm like, hey, you know what? I can just buy a whole series and read them in order rather than having to pick up random ones here and there.
Yeah, that's what happens when you get older and you can afford things.
Yeah.
You got like, all these things I like. I mean, that's why you can't see it, but I'm a movie buff, so I have a closet over here with like 800 Blu-rays in alphabetical order.
Wow.
I'm super into movies, and I don't just download them either. Obviously piracy laws and all that, but like, if I genuinely enjoy a movie, I want to own it. It's just the way I am. Because you know what? When I was a kid, I hated going to people's houses, and they're like, "Oh, you want to watch a movie?" And they would have like 5 movies, and they're all terrible. I was like, I never want someone to come to my house and want to watch a movie and then see my movie collection and be like, oh, I want to go home now.
So I guess you're pretty settled where you are at the moment. Whereabouts are you?
Yeah, so we just moved to Florida about 3 years ago from up north, and we're about 20 minutes from Universal. So it's really nice down here. It's obviously always warm. Even right now, everyone's outside in sweaters. For me, it's still like tank top weather, because I'm from up north where it snows every year.
Yeah.
But the lifestyle down here is so much better, more conducive to, even what I do for work. Fitness obviously gets harder to do. The colder it gets outside, you lose motivation. Gets kind of gloomy. Down here, it's always sunny out, whether it's cool or hot. I can drive my car all year long. I have a Camaro that I built to be really fast. And I would drive it like 2 months out of the year back home because I couldn't drive it in the snow or crappy weather. Down here, it's sunny all the time. And then also as a Florida resident, you can buy an annual pass. So we can go to Universal Studios or Island of Adventure anytime we want. And it's like $350 for the year, So it's like, damn.
That's pretty good.
Well, yeah, because, one day is $110, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So,
but with COVID and everything, though, you can still go, but it's just not as fun. Everyone's like up your. It's so dumb, right? Like, you have to wear a mask, and you'll get yelled at for not wearing your mask. But if you're holding a drink, nobody says anything. Yep. So I just literally walk around with an empty cup, and I'm like, oh, I'm having a drink. So I can't put this mask on. Leave me. Stay 6 feet away.
Yeah, it's the same thing in restaurants here. It's like you have to wear a mask unless you're actively consuming food at the time, and it's just a very grey area with all of this stuff. So,
You unless you're sitting down,
yeah.
you have to wear a mask. Yeah, it's
Ah.
ridiculous. And you probably most of all because the field you work in, I'm sure you hear stories from like every point of view.
Yeah, it seems like there are some people who are very anti-mask, some very pro-mask, some for whom it's like a virtue signaling device, some for whom it's a genuine safety device. It's hard to tell, really.
Well, you want to know, like, so obviously I'm into fitness. I've worked in a gym since I was 14 years old.
Mm.
I started out doing maintenance in a gym, cleaning everything and then fixing everything. And then I became front desk and then I became personal trainer and then I became general manager of the entire club. It's like, do you know how dirty that gym is? Y'all been going to your gym for years and years and years, being exposed to things way worse than COVID. Like the air probably has more, viruses in it, than anything else. Or, you sit down on a machine and you touch the machine, you touch the weight, you touch the pads, and then you touch your face. Like you, you've been exposed to things way worse and you've been fine, or you got a little sick and you got over it. Like everyone's acting like they've never been exposed to a disease before. And I'm under the impression that like my wife was all about hand sanitizer, and I'm like, do not put that stuff on my hands. It's like, you obviously being in your profession, it's like I would rather be exposed to things and build up my immune system than constantly be cleaning everything. At least that's my belief. I could be wrong. You're the expert, not me. I'm a fitness guy.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's fair. One thing I wanted to ask you, like, what does like a normal day in your life look like these days?
A normal day in my life. Well, it actually got a lot better recently
Hmm.
because since we moved into the house, so I'm a handyman too. Like I like to build things. I do like all of my own work on my cars. I do all my own yard work and all that stuff. So when we first built our house, I wired the whole house to be basically a smart house, and I had to like build my networking system and build out my security and do all of that. So I was always like, whenever I had free time, if I wasn't just making YouTube videos or exercising, I was usually doing stuff around the house. And then we just got done building our pool, which should have only taken 4 months, but it took a year because labor is hard to find. Good laborers are hard to find in Florida, and they just kept messing things up. And so once that was done, it took me literally the last month. I just finished like a week and a half ago. I was outside like regrading my dirt, resodding my yard. I did this really cool thing where I put white rocks like all the way around my house to make it look cool. I had to power wash my deck like 4 or 5 times because my wife wanted white limestone, and I had to get it like super shiny before I put the sealant down.
Yeah.
And then we just got done remodeling the living room, which looks super cool. So like I've had all my life, day in the life consisted of like get all my work done and then do all these projects. But now all the projects are done.
Yeah.
So now I don't know what to do with myself. That's why I've been streaming more. I've been doing more Call of Duty streaming. And obviously, more time to exercise as well, which has been great. So for me, an average day in the life now, because my wife works from home too. My wife is a chemical engineer. So we both work from home. So usually we wake up, we have breakfast together, sit down, do emails, get a quick workout in. I like to do like cardio and abs in the morning just to kind of like wake up my brain. I know that if I just kind of wake up and go sit at my computer, my production is cut in half. Like the blood hasn't been pumping yet, and I'm kind of just sitting there like staring at emails, not knowing like what to do about them. So instead of doing that, I go in my gym because I have a gym in my house. Do a little bit of a workout, get the blood flowing, come up with ideas for the day, and then it's a lot of trying to figure out what I want to create. As a creator, as you know, because you do it too, that's like the hardest thing is continuously coming up with new ideas and interesting ways to do things and to grow and reach out. So it's a lot of, going on your own social platforms like YouTube and Instagram, reading and replying to comments, seeing what other people are doing, and then trying to figure out, what you want to create next. So that's pretty much my day in my life right now because it's a lot of home because of COVID, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe at nighttime, the wife and I reconvene and try to go out to dinner to get out of the house and spend some time together. But for the most part right now, it's like grind time, especially getting ready for January because January is big for fitness. So trying to figure out like, what do I want to do in January is going to make the biggest impact to bring more people to my YouTube channel and my website.
Oh, okay. So is it mostly kind of the video content that makes up your business, or do you also do sort of physical personal training type stuff on the side? Or I imagine you've got like a suite of products and things that you sell as well as to sort of build around this.
Yeah, so I have my own website, muscularstrength.com, which we've been working on a new app update, which just got submitted today, finally.
Nice.
We wait on this app update, I feel like, for 8 or 9 months, and it's because my website is only $10 a month, but it gives you access to all of my programs. So I have like 8 12-week programs. Oh, yeah. I have 8 12-week programs, as well as some other programs from some other trainers that I've worked with, body weight, at home, at the gym, muscle gain, fat loss. And then I have my database. So I was really smart whenever I create routines for YouTube, I would always create like PDFs to go along with those so that I could put them on my website and make everything downloadable. So there's like thousands of workouts and exercise tutorials on my site as well as a custom meal plan app and a bunch of other stuff that's worth way more than $10 a month. But my goal is to teach fitness to the world, and I want to make things affordable. So $10 a month is, all you need to get on there and check all that stuff out. And there's content added every single week. But my website and my YouTube channel, then obviously I have my sponsors. I've been with BSN for about 11 years. I've been with Jed North for about 1.5 years now. It's actually the shirt that I'm wearing. They wear a lot of like casual wear and gym wear. And then I have some other companies I work with that have like at-home fitness equipment. If you go to my website, there's a shop, and you'll see Iron Bull Strength. It's a great company. They make amazing stuff. They're out of Canada. Yeah. Unfortunately, like every other company, a lot of their stuff is sold out. So it's really hard. I'm like, hey, check out this barbell I'm using.
Yeah.
You can't buy one.
Yeah, it's all out of stock. Nice.
I'll give you a link anyway, so you can go there and check it out. Maybe when it comes in stock, you can buy one. So the YouTube and my website, and then obviously now, like I said, I've had a gaming YouTube channel for a while. That channel was growing really fast, and then when I moved, I was basically in an Airbnb. I was supposed to be in an Airbnb for 2 months, ended up being about 10 months for reasons that I mentioned earlier. It's hard to find good labor in Florida. So I couldn't really do anything with that channel, kind of lost its momentum. And then I had to obviously rebuild everything. So that channel's been like kind of lagging behind, but now I'm focusing on rebuilding that and rebranding that. But yeah, mostly everything for me comes in from YouTube and my website and my app, which I'm super excited about.
Sick. This is a very interesting business model because as you know, clearly you're leaving tons and tons and tons of money on the table by not charging, in the tens of hundreds or hundreds of dollars for each one of these programs. But yeah.
And and I do one-on-one training too. I have clients basically all over the world. I try to keep like anywhere between 10 to 15 at a time.
Yeah.
And obviously I charge more for those services because it's more interactive.
Yeah.
So I have my entire gym in my house, which means whether it's, I got clients in different time zones. So if it's 9 o'clock at night for me and 8 in the morning for them, I can just go in my gym, put my video on. I can go over proper form. I can show them new exercises. I can show them different techniques. So that's really helped me out too, and it's allowed me to really expand my business and reach an audience I normally wouldn't. But my goal has always been, I'd rather have a solid group of people, on the website versus going after, for example, like on YouTube, for example, it's all about like making the best video or catching a trend or whatever and getting millions and millions of views. I'd rather have, instead of millions and millions of views are great, I'd rather have 10,000 people who want to learn from me on my website, paying $10 a month, and focus on that and giving them quality content than just catching every trend on YouTube and turning into, a trend channel that's more about views and actually educating. Which is very difficult to do because YouTube is all about the algorithm, and it's, right now people are so bored. All they want to see is drama, which kind of sucks for someone like me. It's like, I want to talk about the things that are going on in the YouTube fitness community because everybody's talking about them. But at the same time, I'm like, by the way, you want to work on your biceps. Here's There's some exercises you should be trying. They're like, we don't want to hear about that right now. We can't even go to the gym. We want you to talk smack about this guy. I'm like, that's not what YouTube fitness was all about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
yeah, no, I think having like a membership thing, this is something that I've been thinking about with my team as well, because the whole chasing the trends and chasing the sort of, having to think hard about, what's the title that we can use that doesn't quite, that has enough artistic license that it's kind of just about tells the truth, but also attracts people to the video. All of this stuff is the stuff that I enjoy a lot less than the teaching of things on the internet, which is actually just really fun. So
yeah, and on top of that, and you also never know what YouTube is going to do. So you don't know if YouTube has like, well, your channel's been around long enough, so we're going to suppress your views and we're going to let newer creators get showcased more and get their videos more views to get them to want to create more. And I've had this problem with YouTube. You'll see fluctuations in my channel where I'll be getting 80 to 100,000 views per video.
Yeah.
And then times like right now where I'm getting like 30 to 50,000, and I email back and forth with YouTube, and I'm like, why are you guys blacklisting my channel?
Yeah.
Are you pissed that I'm not paying, $30,000 a month in Google ads, and you're basically trying to blackmail me? Was that the right word? Not blackmail. What's the word? Extort me?
Yeah.
Trying to extort me by hiding my views so I buy Google ads? And they're like, oh, you got to tell people to click the notification bell. I'm like, bro, give me a break. Click the notification bell. People know who I am. It's like if I post a video and less than 1% of my viewers, I got 2.5 million subscribers, less than 1% of those people see my video, it ain't a problem with them having the notification bell clicked. And I've had people message me saying, oh, I've been unsubscribed from you twice. I've had to resubscribe. I've had to re-click the bell several times. So, like, they do actively try to go, I think, after channels that have been around for a while to make you want to pay for ads. Yeah. They'll never admit it, obviously. And newer creators, they push, really hard. Why? Because they want newer creators to keep making content. And so you think about that, right? And I've always thought about this. This is why I have my website. And this is why, like, a lot of other creators, they can't keep doing what they do. First of all, I make a lot of money on YouTube. I won't get into specifics, but I mean, I basically cornered the how-to market 10 years ago. You type in how-to any exercise, my videos pop up 20 million, 30 million, 40 million views, okay? And those numbers keep growing because a lot of apps have reached out to me over the course of the years, and they're like, can we link to your videos for our app, for our fitness app? Hey, as long as you embed the YouTube video, you can do it. I won't even charge you for it. And because of that, my videos are constantly getting viewed, so I'm making money off of those ads. Not everybody has that luxury, and for those of you who aren't really familiar with how YouTube works, especially if you're a vlogger, you might see a vlogger's YouTube channel and be like, wow, they get 100,000 views per video. Okay, well, once those 100,000 views have been watched, that's pretty much it for the video. It's like, see you later, time for the next one. So you're not getting accumulated views. So that's why a channel like mine, I really don't care if I put a video out, and well, obviously I do care. It kind of actually, makes me a little depressed when my videos don't go as far. Let's be honest.
I know what you mean. It's like you see that 10 out of 10 on the YouTube studio, like, oh my god.
Yeah.
What is life?
Yeah. But at least for me, if it's an educational video, I know that over time, I'll come back to that video in a month, and it will be at like 60, 70, 80,000 views because it's education. So it's kind of like I play the long game, But like YouTube could tomorrow be like, you know what? We're going to start charging people to watch YouTube now. So sucks for you. You never know. It's not a business model. Like a lot of people are like, I want to be YouTube famous. I want to be TikTok famous. I want to do Instagram famous. Yeah. I'm like, that's great, but you don't own that platform. And they can just delete your shit, and they can hide your stuff, and they can suppress your views anytime they want for any reason they want. And until that bill or that law they're trying to, get rid of, the 230 whatever, until that gets taken out in America, these companies can do whatever they want. They can suppress whoever they want because they're protected. So even if I was able to prove that they were purposely hiding my views, I couldn't do anything about it because they own the platform.
Yeah. Yeah, this is so I've recently finished up the first cohort of an online course called the Part-Time YouTuber Academy, and in that it's sort of aimed at people who want to treat their channels more like a business, and like a big part of it is expansion into other platforms, your own website, your own newsletter, monetization streams outside of just YouTube, because it does feel like a house of cards. It's like, anything could happen, and so you want to, yeah.
That was a great show, by the way.
It was a great show. Yeah.
Although, I mean, I know
Well,
Kevin Spacey
yeah,
is not the greatest person in the world.
Yeah.
But I'm like, just let him finish.
Yeah. Final season, please.
Just let him. We'll overlook what he did until he finishes, and then we'll like put the hammer down.
Yeah. Then we can fully cancel him.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've actually been watching your videos for absolutely years, because as you say, anytime you type in how to do anything on YouTube, it's always you who comes up like top of the list. And the sort of, since this most recent lockdown, I've wanted to take my fitness more seriously, because I spend tons and tons and tons of hours sitting in front of a computer, and I realized that I'm so focused on like business stuff and work stuff, and just like my physical health, I just haven't really paid much attention to. And so I had this kind of sort of dream bucket list goal, semi-jokingly, but also semi-not jokingly, to become a Gymshark athlete. And I kind of joke about this on my channel sometimes. And so like this time in lockdown, I was watching loads of your videos, and recently, basically every year, every time the new year comes around, I tell myself, I need to fix my anterior pelvic tilt. And then I watch your video, and then I do the exercises for about 2 days, and then I just completely forget, and it just goes out the window. And then it gets to 2020, and I'm like, I really should fix my anterior pelvic tilt. So this is like the first thing I wanted to ask you. How do I actually fix my anterior pelvic tilt? It's just like, the whole rounded shoulders, the whole space in the back thing, the whole tummy sticking out. It's just really, really annoying.
Well, the exercises in the video I know you watched, actually, a lot of people messaged me about that video. They're like, oh my God, that video was so great. It's the one that has the red and green probably in the thumbnail, right? And, those exercises in that video are great to fix anterior pelvic tilt, but they need to be a part of an entire, routine that you do. So it's great to work on those areas, obviously, to straighten out your core and get everything going. But it's a continuous work ethic of training your entire body, strengthening all the stabilizers in your body, working your core through different ways, whether it's going to the gym, squatting, benching, deadlifting, and doing, a full program, and have that a part of it and make that a part of your lifestyle. That's the only way you're going to be able to fix that. You know what I mean? Because it's not like it's like when you have a car, you can't just reinforce one area then expect the whole car to be, bulletproof, right? You got to reinforce the whole thing. And then if you want your car to be fast, you might be working on the engine to make the engine fast, but you still have to reinforce the frame, get better tires to handle the power, right? So it's a combination of all these things, which can be a little overwhelming in the beginning. And this is actually where I feel I excel the most, especially with my online clients. A lot of times when we first start our meeting, they think that they're going to get this, this program that's going to be so intense and have so many exercises and take 2-3 hours in the gym. And I literally, right from the beginning, I'm like, hey, my model is KISS, keep it simple, stupid. We're going to focus on these exercises. We're going to get you in and out of the gym 45 to 60 minutes in the beginning, going to get your body used to training, and we're going to slowly build you up over time. And so for me to help you fix your anterior pelvic tilt, whether you can go to the gym or train at home, we would take those exercises, make them a part of probably your morning routine or your nightly routine, but you will need some sort of structure to work on your entire body throughout the week, whether you have a busy schedule. So whether it's 3 days a week, 4 days a week, sometimes it might be 2 days a week. As long as we can stick to that, you should be okay. So someone like you with a crazy schedule, the best type of workouts for you to do are going to either be a full body routine or an upper lower routine. Because with upper lower or full body, as long as you train at least twice a week, you should be able to hit every muscle group. But if you were to do like a bro split, you might
Biceps.
do like, yeah, you might just be hitting, chest and biceps every week. It's not really going to work out for you, and there's a lot of conversations around, what's better to train with, bro splits or full body, and the science behind RPE, which actually I'm going to be posting a video about that tomorrow.
What's RPE?
Rate of perceived exertion.
Okay.
Which basically is like this is a term that you hear a lot in powerlifting, because you need to focus on that when you power lift. Like if you're trying to increase your max lift, you need to work with different amounts of weight and different rep ranges, so that, for example, if you're deadlifting, your first set might be like 8 reps, and then your second set might be 7, and then your third set might be 6, and then your fourth set might be 3, and you finally do like a 1 rep, right? So you have to keep adding weight while lowering the rep ranges to get your body, used to lifting heavier weights. And then that's where you use RPE. So like when you do your 8 reps, it's not your 8 rep max, it's your RPE 8, which means you might have 2 reps left in the tank.
Got it.
Does that make sense?
Yes. Okay.
So like there's all these different terms, and especially with YouTube fitness, where so many people are getting involved and so many people are trying to like bring science into it. Part of it because they want to teach it, but another part of it is like, ooh, here's a sciencey thing that might get a lot of views. And you see that a lot, and it's so frustrating because like back in the day, I didn't have to give you guys 5 studies to show you how to do a friggin' bench press. I would literally just lay on the bench and be like, put your shoulders here, put your butt there, put your feet here, and now you're benching, and now you're great. But it's like so many people hide behind the science where it's like, well, this study shows that if you put your foot 1 inch to the left and you put your shoulder here, you're going to increase your bench press by 10%. And it's like, dude, blow your brains out. Like, who do you want to learn? And what bothers me about that the most is when I was a trainer. First of all, guys, obviously science plays a huge role, in teaching proper. Like you need to know these things, but you don't need to teach it that way. When I first became a trainer, the gym I worked in, we had 30 trainers. We had a room with like 20 desks, right? And I just remember looking around, and people would come in to buy personal training, and the trainers in the room would be like explaining the anatomy of the biceps, and I could see the person's eyes like rolling so far back in their head that it just, I could tell they wanted to kill themselves and get the hell out of that room. And so I just never wanted to be that type of trainer. When I worked in a gym, people would come in, for their fitness consultation, which usually involves 20-30 minutes of like sitting down and going over, all this paperwork and all this stuff. I'd be like, hey, we got to fill out this form. It's going to be super boring. So how about this? Give me your name, any injuries you might have or complications. Tell me what your goal is. And what we're going to do, we're going to go on the floor. I'm going to beat the crap out of you for 20 minutes. And then we'll fill out this paperwork when you can't move. Sound good? They're like, sure. That's way more fun. Like right from the get-go, you're like, ooh, I like this guy. He's gonna show me what to do. So that's how I've always been a trainer as well. Online trainer.
So I've recently started working with a personal trainer at the gym, and the first thing they also said was, what are your goals? And I was kind of like, well, I'm not really sure what.
Gymshark athlete. Let's go.
Well, there's partly that, I want to be a Gymshark athlete without any gear, as they say.
It's like, you want to be a Gymshark athlete? Well, you got to come in this back room real quick. Close your eyes, and you might feel a pinch in your butt.
Something along those lines. How important is it to have like a particular goal in terms of just because I feel like my goal is genuinely like I'd kind of just want to look a little bit better. I want to flesh out a t-shirt a bit more and maybe like just be generally healthy. Is that reasonable, or do you always recommend people have more specific like body mass percentage or et cetera, et cetera?
Well, the last thing you want to do is give yourself any sort of like body dysmorphia.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a bigger issue than people realize. I mean, you got 15-year-old kids jumping on SARMs because they want to be Instagram famous. They got body dysmorphia because all they see is these super famous, people in their teens and 20s that look amazing because they're on gear, a lot of them, most of them. Actually, I wouldn't put my name behind any of them. Not saying there aren't natural athletes out there too, but I mean, let's face it, the people that look the best usually are on gear, which is why they look the way they look. And so you got, this young audience that already has a goal to obtain a physique. For example, if you're 15 and you follow somebody who's 17 and they look like they're 24 in terms of muscle maturity, it's like you already now have this goal that makes zero sense because that person has the maturity of a 24-year-old's physique because they're on gear to get that way. And then you start doubting yourself. Like I have a couple clients where, you know, they've been training really hard for the past few months, you know, a little bits of ups and downs because of COVID and a few other things. But they're like, oh, I feel like, you know, I should be progressing faster. I'm like, who do you follow on Instagram? You know? and then I have to almost like re-educate them and be like, listen, you're making amazing progress. You're getting stronger, you know, and part of being a personal trainer and a coach is also kind of finding things to help you stay in a positive mindset. So I'm like, dude, your bench went from barely benching 135 to 185 for reps. Like, come on, you're doing an amazing job. The gains come over time. And so it is very important to have goals. And I don't even think you have to necessarily set a realistic goal. And what I mean by that is I'm the kind of person, I like to shoot for the stars, you know, and maybe land on the moon. And I like to overreach with my goals because if I overreach, I know that I'll probably get further if I were to just aim for something, you know, obtainable right in front of me.
Yeah.
Right. So I think it's okay to do that. But know that you're doing that. You know, don't aim for the stars and be like pissed when you don't get to them.
Yeah.
If you set an unrealistic goal. So it's like almost like a way to kind of motivate yourself by being a little unrealistic. But like for me, for example, do you know a lot about Dragon Ball Z?
No, I've never seen it, but I've heard very good things about it.
Okay. Well, first of all, okay, I'll stay on the call. I wasn't sure if I was going to stay after hearing that.
I do apologize.
My favorite character is Broly. Okay.
Okay, I'm going to Google him.
Yeah, Google him real quick. Google Broly, and you're gonna see how this guy's shoulder is as big as your entire.
Wow. Okay, yeah, that guy.
Oh well, that's Broly before he transforms. So go to him with like yellow hair, and he looks like 20 times bigger than that.
This one?
Yeah, there you go. Look at those shoulders. Those shoulders are massive.
Yes.
They're like as big as your entire body. So like when I work out, like Broly's my inspiration because he's just like unstoppable powerhouse.
Yeah.
And obviously in the show, as you just saw, like the Saiyans can transform, right? So when they power up, they go from, you know, being normal size to ginormous sizes if they so choose.
Yep.
I mean, there's different forms of Super Saiyan. We won't get into that. But for me, like when I'm working out and I'm getting pumped, I envision like, yeah, I'm going to be like Broly. I'm going to be massive and have cap shoulders or whatever. Clearly, I'll never obtain that. But it still inspires me because it's what I think looks cool, right?
Yeah.
So, like, that's what I'm trying to say, like, as terms of, like, an unrealistic expectation that inspires you. But for yourself, what's super important, Ali, is, you know, taking static photos. Static photos are going to be one of the best motivators for you. And with my clients, I say, listen, I want you to take some photos, you know, front, back, and side. I want you to do them relaxed, and I want you to do them flexing. And I say, now, you don't have to send me those photos, but I want to make sure that you at least have them. Because I know in a few months from now, you're going to want to show everyone those photos. Be like, look how pathetic I looked to now. Like, yeah, check me out. I'm looking great. And that happens a lot, you know, with all my clients. Because in the beginning, you know, maybe you're not 100% happy with how you look. And then a few months down the road, it might not even be a huge change, but there are visual changes. And you see that progress, and that progress is going to motivate you to keep going and pushing yourselves.
Yeah.
But if you don't have those static photos, you know, it's hard to envision what you used to look like. I mean, you can go find old photos, but when you do a side-by-side shot of you standing there shirtless, and you're like, oh, wow, I can see definition in my chest now. I can start to see my shoulders rounding a little bit. I can see a little vein in my biceps now. That goes a long way.
Okay, I've never done starting photos, but I'm going to start as soon as this call is over because that I feel would be
like your best G-string because you want to see the glutes too.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'll keep that in mind. But it's like there's a surprisingly large amount of motivation from this. In that, for the last few months, very occasionally I'll see a comment on my video being like, "Hey, those biceps are getting bigger," or "Hey, you're on your road to becoming a Gymshark athlete." And that actually genuinely, that's like the best compliment that I feel like I'm getting. I was like, "Oh, sick! I'm gonna keep on doing this."
No, and that's great. And that's what's so cool about social media, right? Is you can post your progress pics and your photos, and even if you posted like a video of you benching, the heaviest weight you've ever done for 5 reps, and
Yeah.
people say, "Wow, that's great." And then you could even, a lot of times when people compliment me on my photos, I take the time to click on their profile
Mm.
and see like if they lift or anything like that. And if I see a photo of them, I'll be like, wow, you look great too. I can tell you're making a lot of progress. And it goes both ways, right?
Yeah.
And it's that continuous support of, you supporting your community while they're supporting you that will push you. Like yesterday, I posted a video. So I used to deadlift a lot. Like I really like deadlifting. It's my favorite lift out of the big three: squat, bench, and deadlift. And at one point, I was at like 530, and I was trying to get to 600, but I injured my bicep. But I didn't injure it deadlifting. I injured it lifting an Atlas stone. Like I had some power lifters that were in my gym at the time, and it was the weirdest thing. Like I picked up the stone and I went to put it over, the rack,
Yeah.
and it just slipped. And the little motion of me going like this to catch it, I strained every muscle, like from my chest, shoulder, bicep. I guess that's a very common injury with those Atlas stones.
Yeah.
And after that, I was like, all right, I'm done with this for a while. But yesterday, I was feeling good, and I was lifting, and I'm like, I'm gonna try to pull, heavier than I have in the last few years. And ended up pulling 475, and it felt like a million pounds. But I posted that video on my Instagram, and I was like, I pulled 475 for the first time in like 2.5 years. And it took me three tries to do it. And I said the first attempt, the bar didn't even come off the ground. It felt like so heavy. The second attempt, I went to pull and I farted really loud and started laughing. So I had to stop. And then the third attempt, I ended up, pulling the weight off the ground. And I felt so good after. Even though at one time I was deadlifting 530 pounds, I felt so good pulling that 475 that I'm like, you know what? I can probably get back to 530. I'm going to keep doing this. I'm going to push myself. And a lot of my community members were like, oh my God, dude, I watched your deadlift pull and it inspired me to friggin' go deadlift. And I just deadlifted, X amount of weight and I feel great. I'm like, awesome. It's inspiration, right?
Yeah. That kind of stuff is really cool. And that's kind of what I want to start doing a little bit more on my YouTube channel, and sort of, because I'm like a weedy nerd, and I want to start taking fitness seriously. And so I'm like, hey, maybe if I can document my journey through doing this stuff and say, hey, this is the stuff I found useful, this anterior pelvic tilt stuff, and then this nutrition stuff, and this workout plan, maybe that might encourage some other people to take fitness a bit more seriously. Because I really wish I've been sort of half-assing going to the gym since like the age of 19, but I've never really stuck to a plan and done it consistently. And like with anything, like with a YouTube channel, it really is just about chucking videos out every week consistently, and then things just happen over time. Whereas for some reason with nutrition and with like exercise, I just haven't stuck to any type of consistency.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you're working with me and I give you an actual program, like if you know exactly what you have to do Monday through Sunday, that right there automatically puts you in a position of success. Even for someone like me, obviously I know a million different workouts I can do at the gym, right?
Yeah.
But if I don't have a written plan of what I want to do, it's almost like there's so much information up here that it becomes distracting and demotivating, right?
Yeah.
But if you have a plan, it's almost like you can forget about all of that and then just, okay, every day at 3:00, I'm going to work out. You just pull out that plan. All right, this is what I'm doing today. Go in, turn up the music, and get it done. Versus like walking in the gym being like, all right, so I know I'm supposed to train back and biceps today, but what exercises do I want to do? Do I want to do something different? No, this is the plan. Do it, get it done, and then move on.
Sick. Okay, how do I work with you?
First, you have to give me lots and lots of money.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. No, I'm gonna make you my project. So
Sick.
we're gonna work together.
Incredible. I would love that.
Yeah. I've actually wanted a project for a while.
Yeah.
So this will be a lot of fun for me.
Sick. Okay, that's going to be a lot of fun for me, because it's like full circle. I've been watching your videos since like I was 17 or something.
That's great. Well, I also know, obviously, if I'm working with you, that's obviously going to inspire, your audience to want to get into fitness as well. So and that's why I do this. I think a lot of creators, especially, in the fitness space, they forget why they're making fitness videos, or at the end of the day, they actually don't care. They pretend like they care in their videos, but they really don't care about people. They just want money and views. And I've never been like that. And that's never been my MO. And anyone who's ever met me, at either in person on the street or at an expo knows that I try to get to know people who watch my videos. Like, I'll have, full-blown conversations with people, sometimes that take too long, and then other people can't, say hi. They're waiting in line forever.
Yeah.
But I like to get to know people. I'm a people person. So that's why I do it. And I think I know helping you is going to help all these other people that I probably, wouldn't have reached otherwise. And that means a lot to me.
Oh, sick. Yeah, no, this should be fun. So how do we start? What do you need from me? Like, what do I need to have clear in my head?
So the main things I'm going to need from you to get started is, obviously, I'm going to need to know how many days a week you can train.
Yep.
I already know what your goal is.
Yep.
So I'm going to need to know how many days a week you can train, how long you can train for, and I'm going to need to know a rough idea of what your diet's like now, so I can build upon that.
Okay.
So for your viewers that are listening to this, if you ever work with an online trainer, this is how it should go. And if it doesn't go this way, get your money back immediately. Okay. Obviously, they're going to ask you what your goal is, how long you can work out, this, that, and the other thing. And I mentioned earlier, obviously, based on your time constraints, that's going to be, an indicator of what workout you should be doing. So it's not that certain workout programs are better than other ones. You just need to find the one that works best for you and your lifestyle. So, for example, full body workouts were huge for a while. They're probably still pretty huge now. Like, a lot of people were pushing full body because, you can train the same body part multiple times a week, and it offers multiple growth periods. I even did videos on this because the science was coming out and saying that those workouts are better for gains. So when I first started exercising, 14, 15 years old, this is before internet, this is before social media, this is with a time where, like, you go in the gym, and if you couldn't get a rep, the big dude in the gym is calling you a pussy and telling you to push harder, spitting in your face, and that's what motivated you, right?
Yeah.
So when I was a kid, I worked out with these, when you work in a gym, obviously, as a 14 or 15-year-old kid, every guy in the gym wants to, train you. They're they want to make you their protege, and they want to instill their knowledge on you and make you a badass. I find myself doing that in my gym when I see the teenage kids come in. I bust their balls so hardcore that a bunch of them they kind of look at me like what? Actually, for those of you who have maybe seen my videos, I worked out with this kid. His name is Tariq. He was in high school, and in the first video I did with him, I brought a bucket and I wrote Tariq's puke bucket on it.
Yeah.
And I worked him out, and we met because I was in the gym and I was gonna train chest, and I was looking for a bench press, and I saw him benching, and his arms were half the size of yours.
Right.
So just think about that. You actually kind of look like Tariq, actually.
Yeah, I've just looked at this thumbnail. I kind of look like him.
Yeah. So I'm watching this kid bench, with these noodle arms, and I'm like, all right, I got to go help this guy. And so I met him, and then showed him how to bench correctly. Then we worked out together, and then became friends with him, and then got to know some of his buddies that were training with him. And he just did a powerlifting meet a week ago. And he's already squatting 400 pounds. He's already benching over 200 pounds, deadlifting over 400 pounds.
Damn.
And I sent him a message. I'm like, dude, a year ago, you could barely bench 95 pounds.
Yeah.
And now look at you. You're in a powerlifting meet, So I forget the point I was making, but that was a fun story.
Nice.
But, you need to make sure you're doing a program that's going to work for you. And, full body, like I said, you have multiple growth periods. But when I was a kid and I was training, I used to train with so much volume. And so volume is basically sets and reps.
Yep.
And so there's so many different techniques that you can bring into a workout program depending on how much time you have to train and what your goal is. So that for me, because I had, moved and I had been doing all this housework, my training was kind of shoddy. It was kind of like here or there training. And so the full body was great for me because it was kind of like reintroducing me into a consistent schedule. But at a certain point, because I was so used to training with so much volume, for example, like when I would train chest, I would probably do like 30 to 40 sets because of all the drop sets I would do. In a full body program, you do like 5 sets of chest.
Yeah.
So my body was used to having so much more volume that the full body kind of wasn't giving me that same oomph that it did when I first started it. So I went back to bro splits, and I love bro splits, and they work best for me. And because I enjoy them so much more, I push myself even harder on those. So it's all about finding what works for you and what you like. And then once I find something you like, it's then up to me to intensify that program so you can keep doing the same style of training but see continuous results.
Okay.
A lot of people think like, oh, I've been doing the same program for 6 weeks. I got to switch up all my exercises. It's like, no, that's what trainers do who want to steal your money. They tell you, oh, it's been 6 weeks. We need a whole new program. You got to give me another $12,000, So here we go. No, everything is about micro adjustments week to week. So, Allie, we'll figure out a base program for you. You'll tell me your time constraints.
Yep.
I'll do to the best of my ability, create a workout program that's going to fit those time constraints, knowing that the first few times you do it, it'll probably take longer because you have to obviously, get used to it. And then we'll figure out your meal plan. And your meal plan basically comes down to your daily calories and your macros, so protein, carbs, and fat, and then what the total calories are. There's no calculator out there that's going to tell you exactly what you should eat. Calculators put you in the ballpark. It is then up to your trainer to make micro adjustments, maybe like 100 to 300 calories a week, up or down, depending on what's happening to your body, whether you're gaining muscle, feeling hungry all the time, losing weight because you're not eating enough food. These are things that you have to discuss week to week, but you make those micro adjustments. So usually by the end of the first month, your program is solid and your meal plan is solid. And then we should start to be able to see measurable gains from there.
Okay, awesome. This sounds really fun. I'm very excited because this is like the perfect incentive for me as well to actually take this seriously and consistently over the long term. In the past, when I've been you work with a trainer and then they leave the gym, or you work with a trainer and then lockdown happens, or you work with a trainer for 2 sessions and then you're like, well, I'm on a series of night shifts now, so everything all goes out of whack. So making this commitment on a live stream and having this as the start of my kind of fitness journey, this sounds really fun.
Where are you located again, Ellie?
I'm in Cambridge, in near London.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I've been to London quite a few times.
Any plans to come over anytime soon?
The wife loves to go to London and Paris. Nice. So once we're able to travel again, probably. Yeah. So what are the gyms like where you are? Because I know it's hard to find a really good gym.
Yeah. So I've got one that I've been a member of for years, which is really nice. It's just nice. It's got all of the things in it, and so theoretically I should be able to go 3 times a week. I think 3 times a week would be reasonable.
One thing that also would help me too is if you got the photos of the equipment in the gym.
Oh, sure.
Because sometimes, I just had a client that went to Indonesia, because he's actually from California, and he's been bouncing around, basically going to places where COVID isn't restricting what he can do. So now he's in Indonesia, and he found this gym, and it's like a gem. They have so much equipment and so many cool things. And where he's just starting out on his journey and he has a little bit of weight to lose, I can take advantage of specialized equipment that this gym has to get him to squat heavy without having to throw a barbell on his back, for example, right? Okay. So it's I can utilize different machines to help you to lift heavier as you build up your strength, your core strength, and work on the stabilizers in your body too, so that, hey, maybe I don't need you to bench press in the very beginning or dumbbell press. I can have you use this machine, for a few sets and then move you over to the dumbbell or bench press, depending on how we want to work it out. But it does help to see the machines that you have, because sometimes you'll find a few really cool things where I'm like, oh, let's go to there first. So a lot of times, for example, pull-ups, right? If your gym has a pull-up assist machine, instead of having you just do lat pull-downs, I'd rather you use the pull-up assist machine so that you can do 2 or 3 pull-ups maybe on your own, without the assist. So you do those 3 pull-ups, and then you use the assist for the last 5 or 6. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Right. So next time I go, which will be maybe tomorrow, I will send you photos of all of the things. There's like a load of stuff in there, but I'll just send it all your way, and you can you can do whatever with it. That was another thing that I was semi-concerned about, because I'm planning to live in Europe for 3 months early next year, but depending on COVID restrictions. So planning to live for a month in Amsterdam, a month in Vienna, and a month in Copenhagen. And obviously the gym situation is going to vary. And theoretically, like, there's this company that has like these co-living type spaces, and each of the rooms has those Olympic ring type things, the TRX rings. So there'll be that at least, and they all have their own like built-in gym, but I'm also not sure what the equipment will be. So I guess each time I go to a new location, or if lockdown happens again and all the gyms are closed, I've got like a kettlebell and a pull-up bar at home, and I guess we can work with those.
Oh, 100%. So even when I do my programming, I try to stick to the basics as much as possible.
Yeah.
Because the basics are there for a reason, like bench press, bent over row, pull up, squat, deadlift, stuff like that. Those movement patterns work, and they have worked since forever. So that's like, I don't like when trainers try to make up stuff. It's like, you don't need to make up stuff. These things work just fine. Like, I'm not going to have you, stand on one foot on a Bosu ball and, squat for
Right.
building stability in your legs. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. So yeah, if you go to a location and the equipment is restricted, we can easily dial it down so that you can still get your workout in. And, maybe you won't be able to lift as heavy as you were, but we can do at least enough to maintain so that when you get back to a gym, you can just fall back into your routine.
Okay, sick. Two general questions. Number one is, you mentioned that the sort of enjoying the workout aspect is a really important part of it. I feel like for me, I've not yet really enjoyed workouts, and I'm not sure like how do you make working out more fun? Essentially, is my question.
Well, flexing in between sets in the mirror, tends to help out a lot.
Okay, cool. That's tip number one.
One thing I would highly recommend is obviously making a goal.
Yeah.
Whether it's a TV show you like, I never really looked up to real people. I always looked up to like my superheroes.
Yeah.
So when I was a kid, I'm like, I want to be like Captain America. He's jacked and he beats up bad guys.
Yeah.
And that was kind of like my inspiration, to want to go to the gym and get big and strong.
Yeah.
So it does help to have an inspiration of maybe a body type that you want to look like.
Okay.
Right. Number two, and this helps me a lot in the gym, especially when I'm not feeling motivated, is you have to have your music with you.
Yeah.
Like whatever inspires you, like sometimes I'll do cardio and I'll listen to like, softer songs or like slow songs that have like a lot of like a good musical instrumentation behind them, because that's what gets me pumped to do cardio or techno, or, when I'm on the workout floor, then I use my rock music for that. Just something that you can listen to that you enjoy. So it makes, at least you can start to connect time at the gym with listening to music that you like. Because other than being in the car, when do you really have time to listen, to music you like and really sit there and enjoy it? I mean, you can put it on while you work, but if you're doing calls or whatever, you can't do that.
Okay.
So music is a big thing, especially for me. I actually was a DJ for 8 years, on a side note.
Nice.
I've done a lot of stuff.
Nice. Yeah, like at the moment, my gym playlist is just an audiobook, which, and actually last year, the way I got myself to go to the gym was that I was only allowed to listen to my audiobook when I was at the gym. And so I'd be very incentivized to go just to, find out what's happening and all that.
I mean, probably best to use that maybe on cardio.
Yeah, rather than, it's not very like pumping up, and sometimes I get so absorbed in it that I just end up resting for like 20 minutes. I'm like, well, I guess that's a workout done. Let me just go home now and continue listening to the audiobook. So
yeah, because what's gonna keep you motivated in the gym? So like a lot of times when you first start your workout, you probably have you might have zero motivation to be there.
Yeah.
So you need to find a way to power through at least the first exercise, and get that pump going, and that's kind of what gets you hooked to want to stay there. And that's why for me it's like the music. Like yesterday I didn't even want to, really work out at that time. But I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to crank my music and I'm just going to start like doing lighter weights to warm up, get the blood flowing. and that's usually enough, to get me in the zone.
Okay.
And that's actually a pretty good tip too. Now that I kind of say it out loud, if you're not in the mood to work out and you just kind of like go do some lighter sets, we can call them warm up sets, or we can just call them, pump up sets. So if you're going in the gym and you got a bench, you don't feel like benching, just put on lightweight, bench it like really easy 12 or 15 times and rack it, and then go down and do it again, and then go down and do it again. Get the blood flowing, get the brain, waking up. Sometimes that's enough to kind of like get you started. It's like hitting the primer button, on a weed whacker. It's like doesn't want to start. But you keep hitting that primer, then it finally goes. So that could be the same thing, but it's going to come down to having a goal, but also having that program in your hand is also motivational, because if I send you into the gym and you have like 5 or 6 exercises to do, you can be like, okay, I only got 5 or 6 exercises.
Yeah.
But if you go into the gym without that, you're not visually seeing how many exercises you're doing. So it's like, oh, I got to do all this stuff.
Yeah.
And also some trainers, they like to give you as many exercises as they can think of because they think it makes them look smart. That can be very demotivating, right? You go into the gym, you get a list of like 12 different exercises. You're like, I'm not doing this. I'd rather give you 5 or 6 exercises and have you do 4 or 5 sets per exercise, because they're going to be exercises that give you the most bang for your buck, right? My goal is to get you in and out of that gym as fast as possible, but also making sure that you hit your goals.
Oh,
I want you amazing. In there. I mean, unless there's like some cute girls you want to talk to, I can make your program a little longer. You can stay in the gym, chat it up a little bit.
Add some more bicep curls to the program.
Yeah. Oh, you noticed that too, did you?
Okay, this is getting me very excited. So one thing that I've struggled with in the past has been the nutrition front, because I've done all these kind of calculators, and my old kind of trainers have always given me kind of macro goals to hit, and then I just feel like I don't have default meals that I can just sort of every day it's like that decision fatigue of, okay, what do I want to cook / order for takeaway today? And I feel like I just need a few like staple meals that if I can't be bothered to cook, then just get grilled chicken takeaway with broccoli. And if I can be bothered to cook, then it's like do this and this. Like, have you got a way of thinking about nutrition in a way that doesn't have the decision fatigue that I feel is associated with it?
I can 100% relate to that. So when my wife we first started living together, she's like, you eat very boring. Like you eat the same thing all the time. I'm like, because to me, when I'm eating during the day or during the week, I'm not eating for taste.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't eat food that tastes bad, but I'm just saying, like, I'm not eating to enjoy the meal. I'm just trying to hit a goal of a specific amount of food. And if I want to go out on the weekend with my friends or, with my wife and go to a restaurant and have something that tastes, a little better, a little different, that's fine. But at least Monday through Friday, I know I'm going to hit my macro goals. And if I pre-cook a lot of chicken or salmon or rice or vegetables, I got bananas, apples in the house, things that I can grab really fast and eat. Oatmeal takes 2 seconds to cook. Greek yogurt, stuff like that. I do have protein bars. That I also work with a company called Icon Meals, where they actually send you pre-made meals.
Oh, yeah.
So they send me actually I just started ordering, it's like bison meat. So it's like bison, brown rice, and broccoli. It's my new favorite meal from them. And I'll eat like 2 or 3 of their meals a day, and then I'll also have my own pre-cooked food, and I'll kind of pull from that too. But yeah, definitely having your staple meals and cooking in bulk is going to be one of the easiest ways to reach your goal, right? Because especially when you're first starting out, it's so important that you reach your meal goals and that you have nutrient dense food. Actually, I was thinking about making a video today on this girl. She has a TikTok. My wife showed me the video yesterday, but her TikTok was, avoid these foods in the morning to lose weight, or to not gain weight. And they were like high sugar foods. And she's like, naming off all the foods. But the video had like 1.3 million views. And if you read the comments, literally people are like on her ass saying that she's body shaming because she's giving advice on how to not get fat by eating these types of foods.
Yeah.
And they're like, this is body shaming. You should be ashamed of yourself, whatever. And I'm like, since when is giving health advice body shaming?
Yeah.
Right? And so it's absolutely ridiculous. And then you start to see comments where they're like, it doesn't matter what you eat, it's calories in versus calories out. I'm like, okay, let me see how you feel after a month of only eating Pop-Tarts. And we'll see what happens to your body. So it's like cancel culture has made even like, I feel like what you should and shouldn't be eating so toxic because of comments like that get a lot of like hype behind them, because everyone's looking for an excuse to not have to do hard work, no matter what it is. Everybody's looking for an excuse to be a lazy piece of, excuse my French, shit, okay? And so when you get all these people attacking, fitness people, giving health advice, saying they're body shaming, it just makes, the 200-pound overweight person feel more empowered to continue to be that way and eat in a lifestyle that's not healthy, right? Because they have all these other people that are with them, behind them, cheering them on. But it's like, no, that's not how it works. When you're eating food, you have to make sure you're not only getting your macros, calories in versus calories out to lose weight, but if you're not getting your vitamins, you're not getting your minerals, you're not getting enough protein, you're not going to sustain that muscle mass. You might be losing weight, but you're probably losing muscle mass, which is killing your metabolism and overall killing your body, right? So there is an importance behind food. There is an importance behind getting enough protein. In fact, a lot of my clients, I'm like, listen, these are your macro goals. If by the end of the day you've screwed up so much that you're not going to hit them, I want you to at least focus on that protein goal. Eat as much food as you can to reach that protein goal. Have a shake. I don't care what you eat. Get your protein goal in. And then tomorrow, don't screw up, or I won't be your trainer.
So do you find that the problem with most people is that they're not eating enough to hit their macro goals? Isn't it the case that this might be me not knowing what I'm talking about, but I thought if you want abs are made in the kitchen and you have to be at a caloric deficit.
Yes and no. So abs are like any other muscle group, right? So if you consistently train your abs, they will grow and become, bigger and stronger. And a benefit to that is you can almost hold more body fat and still see the abs because you've built that muscle.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now, obviously, if you want to look super shredded and really see them, you got to diet down, but you can still be in a calorie surplus, training really hard, and have a bit higher body fat and still see your abs.
Oh,
like that's kind of like where I'm at right now.
Okay.
Like I'm in the process of leaning out, but if you look at my photos, when if I'm standing there normal, you can go to my Instagram. If I'm just standing up normal, you can kind of see my abs because of the body fat. But if I flex, you would think that my body fat is a lot lower.
Yeah.
All right. So, and a lot of people are like, well, I'll train my abs once I lose the body fat. It's like, no, you want to train them now so that as you lose the body fat, they're already there.
Okay.
And eating enough too. So this is why people get skinny fat.
Yes.
And so
I'm skinny fat. This is the problem.
So skinny fat is basically your body's number one goal is to not die. Okay. And if you think about this, it makes it really easy to understand food. So if your body's number one goal is to not die and you're not giving it enough food day to day, your body basically adjusts to be able to survive on the amount of calories that it's getting. So a lot of times when I first start working with people and I give them their meal plan, let's say, they're supposed to be eating around 2,500, 3,000 calories for their height and their weight, whatever. I don't just put them on 2,500, 3,000 calories. I put them like 1,800 to 2,000, and then I make micro adjustments week to week as they start to train so their body has time to get used to eating more food. And usually what happens is the first week or two, they have a really hard time eating those 1,800 calories. But within those first 2 weeks, their body now starts to realize, oh, I'm actually getting the food I need on a consistent basis. It's okay for me to release, some of this body fat I've been holding on to because I'm getting those calories in. Yep. And then what starts to happen is you start to get hungrier because everything is starting to function more efficiently, right? It's like an old factory is starting to wake up, And like I said, a lot of my clients are like, oh, the first 2 weeks, I have to just keep reminding them of this process. Like, listen, right now your body doesn't want the food because it's programmed to not need it. And then after 2 weeks, they're like, I'm so hungry every day. I'm like, great, let's eat some more food. Like they can't believe how much their body transforms just from eating more. Like, oh, I want to lose 20 pounds. All right, we got to eat more food. They're like, what? I'm like, you're not eating enough food. Your body isn't functioning correctly. So it's like, yeah, you can be in a super calorie deficit. Like you watch that show Naked and Afraid. There hasn't been one person that went on that show that didn't lose weight. But they've also visually lost a lot of muscle mass. And that's what we want to prevent. If you're ever trying to lose weight, there is a chance you'll lose muscle mass, but we want to make sure we lose as little muscle mass as possible.
Yeah. Speaking of, is it possible to gain muscle while not getting a fatter belly? Which has always been my concern.
Yeah, okay. 100%. And again, it all comes down to making those micro adjustments, and then finding a meal plan that's going to allow you to make lean gains.
Yeah.
And that's, that can be hard to do, but as long as you're monitoring week to week how much food you're eating and what your training's like, and we're able to like step on the scale or look in the mirror or look at a progress photo. I mean, I don't really weigh myself ever. If I want to measure my progress, I literally just flex in the mirror because I know what my body looks like. Seriously, right? Okay. I'll flex in the mirror and be like, I gotta do a little more cardio this week, or oh, I'm looking a little flat. I didn't eat enough food. You know what I mean? So you don't have to just, because if you look at that number on the scale, it's very misleading. You don't know how much of that is muscle mass. You don't know how much of that is fat. You don't know how much of that is water. And that's another big thing too. If you're not drinking enough water every day, your body's not going to function correctly. It's not going to be like, even in terms of digestion, getting toxins out of your system. And a lot of people don't like to drink a lot of water because when they first start drinking a lot of water, they got to take a piss like every 2 hours. Yeah. Right? Guys, after like a week or two, that goes away. And then your body learns to control its pissing. Isn't that what you say in London?
Exactly. That's how we explain it.
Taking a piss. I love that movie Kingsman. Oh, what you doing, Eggsy? Taking a piss.
Yeah, this has always been my issue. Anytime I drink more water, it's like, well, I'm going to the toilet every half an hour, but I've, again, never done it for long enough to let my body adjust to that.
I mean, and you'll see most people will actually lose weight just from getting their water intake correct.
Yeah.
Because their body is just going to start functioning better. Like most people, they do not eat enough food. Like my wife, for example, I'm like, what'd you eat today? She goes, oh, I ate a lot. I was like, okay, tell me what you ate. And then I'm like, yeah, you're about 1,000 calories under what you should be eating, But don't tell my wife that. She'll
of course,
beat my ass.
Absolutely.
I really don't care if I'm in the doghouse because my doghouse is pretty sweet. I got all my toys. I got my gaming system. I'm like, I got my DX racer chair, which I can sit in this thing for like 9 hours and it doesn't even hurt my butt or back. So I'm good.
Mate, living the dream. What's the deal with supplements?
So I'm with the company BSN. I've been with BSN for, 11 years now. You know what? I was probably the very, very, very first social media athlete ever.
Oh, okay.
Because I started YouTube Fitness.
Yeah.
I was the first person to do it consistently. When I became a social media influencer, I remember the exact conversation I had with the guy at BSN who's no longer there. This guy Brandon. He's like, I don't know what you are. I had like 4,000 subscribers, and I was like, hey, people like these videos I make. You should, give me free stuff and hire me.
Yeah.
Because I was on The Real World, and I was living in Brooklyn, and one of my roommates on the show had BSN supplements, and he would make us Explode pre-workout shakes before we'd go out to the clubs.
Right.
Nice. You guys gotta try this. I don't recommend doing that.
Yeah.
He's like, you guys try this. Anyways, so I really fell in love with the protein and the pre-workout, and then so after the show, I was living in New York, and that's how I started my YouTube channel, and I was making my videos. I was gaining traction. Then I reached out to the company for a sponsorship, and he's like, I don't know what you are, but you're something. And then they ended up bringing me on as an athlete, and I've been with them ever since. So for those of you who want to order BSN, you go to gobsn.com. You can use my code Scott15, get 15% off and free shipping. All capitals, SCOTT15. Anyways, so what I like best about BSN is they don't like push supplements on people.
Yeah.
Like they have their supplements, they have their protein, their creatine, their pre-workout, their aminos, they have all the essential things that you need, but they always even tell us, the athletes, that like make sure you push food first, supplements after, because supplements are supposed to supplement your meal plan, right?
Yeah.
So do you need supplements? No. Does it make things easier? Of course it does. That's why they're there. So even for me, my supplement stack is literally, I have my protein shakes, so I use Synth6. And so there's different versions of Synth6.
Yeah.
There's an isolate and an edge.
Okay.
I like the edge because it's more protein, less carbs.
Sick.
Because I get a lot of my carbs from my regular food. I use their pre-workout and I'll explode.
Yep.
And then I use BCAAs. I like to have those when I'm training, if I'm feeling a little hungry or doing a lot of cardio. And then I also take creatine. Creatine is definitely a supplement that I do recommend that people take. You probably know all about creatine and what it does for those.
Strong evidence base behind it as well. Yeah.
Well, and if you break it down in its simplest form, I mean, as you're exercising, you're breaking down creatine molecules, and so in order to resynthesize, what you've lost, it helps to have more creatine stored in your skeletal muscle tissue. Like literally, that's all it does. It just, creatine is stored in the skeletal muscle tissue, and as you exercise and you become fatigued, when you're resting, your body now has more creatine molecules to pull from to resynthesize and get that energy back. So it doesn't make you work out longer and harder. It just allows you to, right? That's why a lot of Olympic athletes, like gymnasts love creatine because they're working out for like 8 hours. They're doing all kinds of pull-ups and flips and stuff. They need to be able to recover in between the pull-ups and the flips. So I recommend my stack: NO Explode, protein, Synth6, creatine, and then aminos if you want them. You don't have to take aminos. They can help.
Okay. So I'm on the website now. So Synth6 Edge as like the protein powder. Which flavor do you like?
I love the cookies and cream lately. That's been my
cream. Okay.
go-to.
And do you add milk or do you add water, or like what's your recipe?
With BSN, so they're known for having the best tasting protein on the market. Like we have a whole line of protein that tastes like Cold Stone ice cream. It's crazy, and it tastes just like the ice cream. But what they've best known for is not only their taste, but you can literally put a scoop in water, shake it up twice, and drink it, and you have no clumps.
Oh, sick. Okay.
Like you can down it so fast.
Cool. All right, adding that to cart. Okay, cool. And NO Explode. That's a pre-workout thing. Yep.
Well, they also have Endo Rush. So they have two different pre-workouts.
Okay.
I actually just got the Blue Raz Endo Rush this week.
Yep. Because
I wanted to switch things up. And that's actually what I drank before I pulled the 475. So I don't know if it got me extra hyped up.
Yeah.
But
that's out of stock on the UK website, so it'll have to be the. Would you recommend I start with this straight away, or is it a case of you build these in slowly over time, or does it not really matter?
So with pre-workout, I would recommend if you do grab it, maybe start out with like half a scoop if you're new to it.
Okay.
I've been drinking pre-workouts since before they made them weaker, and what I mean by that is they used to have ephedrine in them.
Okay.
And I would drink like 2 or 3 of this. My gym used to sell this product called American Bodybuilding, ABB, Rip Force.
Yep.
Which ABB is owned by the same parent company as BSN, which is a company called Glambia. Glambia owns Isopure, Optimum Nutrition, BSN, Nature's Virtue, whatever it's called, ABB, whatever. Dude, like I would be drinking this stuff like Kool-Aid, all that ephedrine in my body.
Yeah.
So like for me, I have to cycle on and off pre-workouts because I'll get to a point where I can literally drink it like it's juice and then go sleep.
Oh, okay, right.
That's me. That's 22 years of abusing pre-workouts.
So I should start small. Which flavor should I get of the NO Explode?
Which flavors are available?
Blue raspberry, fruit punch, green apple, and watermelon.
So I like the Blue Raz the best.
Alrighty.
But if you like watermelon or green apple, like they taste like watermelon and green apple. So
Okay.
which flavor do you think you might like the best?
I think blue raspberry. I normally go for those for like slushies, slush puppies,
Yeah,
whatever you call them
yeah.
in the US.
Same thing. I'm not much of a green apple. Like when Skittles came out with green apple and then still put original on the package,
Yeah.
that like killed me.
Ah.
Like it's not original. It's lime. Who put this disgusting green apple Skittle? And on top of that, every time I get a handful of Skittles, I feel like it's all green apple. That's all I can taste is the damn green apple. It ruined, like, there's a specific smell. We're going to get off topic.
Yeah.
When you open a bag of Skittles with lime, there is a specific smell coming out of that bag that's like crack. You're like, yes. I'm going to eat these. Like, Skittles is my favorite candy. My mom would always buy me, like, because I'm a gamer. So I'd like be playing Zelda and have like a 1 pound bag of Skittles, like scooping all that into my mouth. Or every time I went to the movies, I would have Skittles with my movies. You know what I have now? Not Skittles, because green apple sucks. And I don't care who's listening. I don't care if you like it. If you prefer green apple Skittles in the original package, you're not a real person.
Right. Very strong opinions about Skittles. I don't think I've ever noticed whether it's been green apple or lime green at all. But okay,
Oh, God, I don't know if I might have to not train you. You keep giving me reasons to like bounce.
It's fine. I'm ordering this BSN stuff and using your code. I hope it works for the UK website. Fingers crossed.
It should. It definitely should.
Cool. So, and creatine, should I start that as well, or is it that put in over time type thing?
I would start creatine for sure.
Cool.
Because with creatine, also this is great for your listeners. There's no loading phase. There's no cycling. You literally 1 scoop a day, 5 grams, and it takes about 2 weeks for it to fully saturate your muscles and for you to notice a difference. Okay. So it's best that you start taking it now, so that maybe 2 weeks from now, when you're into your program, you're training a bit harder, it starts to kick in.
Nice.
And again, supplements are not a solution to a problem. They're a way to enhance what you're already doing. And as long as you have that mindset, you should be fine.
All right.
But yeah, with the pre-workout, and even Ali, with the pre-workout, don't take it if you don't need it, right? Like, so if you feel great, don't take it. Just have it like maybe in your gym bag, have it ready to go. But if you're feeling tired, put the pre-workout in.
Oh, okay. So it helps you feel more like energized. Is that what it does?
I mean, it's going to do a few different things. So the NO Explode has nitric oxide in it, which helps dilate your blood vessels to help make them a little bigger, to help the blood flow increase, right? It helps it with the pump. It helps the blood flow. So it does have those benefits other than just the energy. But it's also kind of good to know that you can go to the gym and train hard without this stuff, right?
Okay.
Because you don't want to think, well, I don't have my pre-workout, I can't train hard today. You don't want to have that mentality.
Okay, cool. And the creatine, do you just add it to water, or like how does that work?
So I literally just scoop it into my mouth and then switch it down with water.
Right. Okay.
It literally tastes like nothing.
Okay.
And I'm like OCD, so when I put creatine in a cup and then stir it and then drink it, and then like I see all little bits of it stuck in the bottom of the glass, I get mad.
Okay.
Like, go in my mouth.
Okay, awesome. So I've got all these on the way. Annoyingly, on the UK website, bodyandfit.com, which is what the BSN website took me to, your code doesn't seem to be working, but
that's okay.
I do apologize. I want you to get the kickback or whatever arrangement you have.
You know what? As long as you're what's it called? Body and Fit?
Bodyandfit.com, yeah.
Let me see. Body and Fit. Let me message my guy, because I did not know that. Well, I know it's only North America. That's what he said yesterday. We had a call yesterday. We have some new products coming out I can't talk about.
Oh. Sick. Okay. So how do we... I'm going out to dinner later tonight. Is there any general guidance on what's like a good thing to eat when you're at a restaurant, or if you're getting a takeaway or something?
So the best thing to do when you're going out to eat is always just make sure it has protein.
Okay.
So make sure you get a dish, whether it has a steak, whether it has chicken, whether it has fish. Always make sure it has protein. And then I always tell people, make sure you eat the protein first, right? Because if you get full, I'd rather you have like potatoes left over
Yeah.
than steak.
Okay.
Okay? Eat your protein first, and then you can fill up on the rest. Don't fill up on bread if there's free bread.
Okay, got it. So I shouldn't be worried about like not eating too many carbs and stuff for now.
No, just based on how you look, I
Yeah.
wouldn't worry about that. If I were to worry about anything about you going to dinner tonight, it would
Yeah.
be like a large gust of wind possibly blowing you across the street.
All right, fantastic. That's very reassuring. Amazing. All right, so I've got my creatine DNA, my NO Explode, and my Syntha 6 Edge on the way. Good
Beautiful.
stuff. So MyFitnessPal to track stuff?
So I actually have a tracker on my site as well,
Oh, great.
and my meal plan tracker. It works just like MyFitnessPal, and it allows me to also log in. So if you create a platinum account on my site,
Yeah.
and then you can go to the meal plan section, you can start inputting your food so that when we talk again,
Yeah,
I can
you'll
go
have
in
some
there
data.
with you and move things around. Yeah.
Sick.
It makes it a
Alrighty.
lot easier for me. Because you can do all the same things. You can add custom foods. You know, it has a whole database. I mean, it's basically MyFitnessPal, but I feel a little better. Because
Yeah.
mine also tracks your vitamins and minerals as well.
Okay. And has that got like an app, or do you have to log in on the website to add stuff?
So, yes. Yeah, so it has its own app as well. You have an iPhone, right?
Yes.
I'm assuming, yes. You can actually download my app and access it through there.
Oh.
But yeah, sign up on the website just until I push this update through.
Oh yeah, sure.
It'll make it a lot easier, and then I'll walk you through it.
Alrighty.
Oh, so that's what I was saying earlier. So what happened was we did all of our like billing for the platinum membership through the website, and we were able to embed, like an iframe or whatever on the app for the billing. But this year, Apple's like,
Oh
nope,
yeah.
you can't do that anymore. You got to use the Apple Store.
You've got to pay them the 30% fee.
So we basically had to like rebuild everything, which sucked. But at the end of the day, though, I think it wasn't such a bad thing because maybe people feel more secure just like double clicking that button on their phone to pay for things versus like going into an iframe and going somewhere else. So it is what it is.
Yeah.
It'll work out for the best. I don't let things get me down. If something happens I don't like, I've learned, if you fight what the universe is throwing in your face versus like adjusting and moving forward, it tends to get worse. So you probably watched The Secret or read that book.
Oh, I was listening to the audiobook like a few weeks ago. I just couldn't believe it. Like it started off sounding very reasonable, and then they started being like, yeah, we had someone, Elisa, had breast cancer, and then she imagined it away, and then it went away. I thought, okay, hang on.
Power of positive thinking.
Exactly. All right, I've signed up to the annual platinum member subscription.
Okay,
And
great. So you should be able
theoretically-
to go to the meal plan section.
Oh,
It's
meal
going
plan.
to ask you for like your information, and we'll obviously jump on a call, probably off camera, to go over all this stuff too.
Sure.
And then we'll get you started.
Sick. And yeah, we should record all of our calls, because then when I do the video journeys, it can be like
Oh yeah,
including
perfect.
bits and bobs. And when it comes to like the I've heard the tip before that you should take starting photos and stuff, but again, I feel like some level of perfectionism in me is always like not, but like I always have this camera, my YouTube filming camera, that's on my desk, so I could just do the photos here, or
For sure, man.
like,
You could even do video if you wanted to, and then do screenshots of the photos if you wanted.
cool, that's a good shot.
But make sure you do front, back, and side,
Okay,
and then also I want you to do a bicep flex front and back.
front and back. Okay, so front, back, and side, and like
Your bicep flex.
when I'm doing these, okay, I'm gonna stand up so you can see what I mean. For example, if I were to stand up and I were to stand straight, I look like this. But if I slouch, then my belly comes out. Like,
So I typically tell people to look as worse as possible in their before photos.
okay. Yeah.
Because it's more motivating for you later when you look at your afters. You're like, oh yeah, because like you'll get to a point where like you can't even make yourself look that bad because you look so much better and your body's stronger. You know what I mean?
Okay, sick. And also, is this normal? Where when you push your belly out, you look like you're sort of 3 months pregnant? or is that just excess body fat that I've got?
Well, it's a combination of excess body fat, and because you have anterior pelvic tilt, could also be a weak transverse abdominis.
Oh yeah, almost certainly. And
So
my back is very like it's the you know when you do the thing where you lie down, there's a huge gap underneath.
yeah, there's a big arch.
Yeah, that's right.
So for those of you who don't know, the transverse abdominis, it kind of like holds your whole core together. And as you get older and you don't work your abs and you sit at a desk all day, the transverse abdominis starts to get weak and like you start to get a distended belly. Okay. That can be reversed simply by strengthening the transverse abdominis. I have a YouTube video called How to Stomach Vacuum.
Okay.
It's a really good video.
How to stomach vacuum.
But that teaches you how to work a transverse abdominis, and so we'll probably have to incorporate some of those into your program as well.
Sweet.
Like I can like flex my stomach and pump it, so like just the middle pumps forward and back.
Right.
It looks pretty cool. Teach you how to do it. You'll be doing like a belly dancing tutorial.
Exactly, mate. This is my content for 2021.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is gonna be awesome.
This needs to go. Wait. So, are you really saying I need to eat more food? Because like I feel so fat. Like there's so much I can grab on the belly front.
Yeah. Can you jiggle your chest too? Yeah. Like when you flex your chest and squeeze, do you feel solid mass or does it feel kind of soft still?
It feels really soft.
Yeah. We gotta eat correctly and fill up that mass.
Okay. So I shouldn't be concerned about this in the short term.
Yeah, the worst thing you can do, especially starting out skinny fat, is worrying about your stomach.
Yep.
Because that's what got you in trouble in the first place with not eating enough food. Because you automatically assumed your belly looks the way it does because you're eating too much.
Yes.
What's a combination of many things.
Okay.
Right?
Okay, amazing. This is basically my life for the last few weeks where I've been thinking, why is my belly so big? I need to eat less. I need to eat fewer carbs.
I mean, what I'll probably even do, Ali, is give you like a 15-minute or 20-minute like abdominal routine to do at home.
Yep.
To specifically work on tightening that area. Now, don't get the guys. You can't spot reduce fat, but if we tighten up the muscles that are there, it will give the illusion that your core is getting smaller because your waist is obviously going to start to go down if you tighten up your midsection, right? Especially that transverse abdominis, that will shrink your waist, but the body fat still needs to go away on its own. And it goes away when it feels like it. Your body, everyone's body gains and loses fat at different rates in different places. So if anybody tells you, like, do this exercise to lose your flabby arms, like, you can tighten up the muscle, but if it's fat flab, it's going to go away when it feels like it. You got to just focus.
Okay. Final question, which may or may not be completely pointless, but like, as you get more hench, do you get like a more chiseled like face as well? Or is that just a complete myth?
So if you're rocking like growth hormone, human growth hormone, yeah. That's why like a lot of actors, you know, their facial structure changes so much when they we can talk about actors and their workout routines, you know, later, but you will start to see more definition in your face as you lose body fat. Obviously, because you're losing body fat everywhere.
Yeah.
But like you're not going to get a protruding jaw unless you're rocking gear.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So it'll enhance what's there, but it's not going to add.
Okay, I'll just have to shape the facial hair in a more defined, more angular fashion then.
Exactly.
Have to do something like that.
Like people go out and they get that jazzercise thing. Have you seen those commercials?
No, what is that?
So it's like a ball you put in your mouth and you crunch on it. And it's supposed to work, you know, these muscles and make your jaw bigger. And they have the guy from Terminator 2, the T-1000 or T-2000. So he's like their guy. And he's like, oh, it made my face look like so much younger because it improved my jaw. You can literally tell in the photo, in the before photo, he has his mouth closed, but his teeth aren't touching in the back. And then in the after photo, you can tell his teeth are touching, which is making his jaw defined. I'm like... You guys are such scammers.
Yeah. All right. Sick. Okay, Scott, this is amazing. I feel super inspired. Straight off this, I'm gonna take some photos. I'm gonna make myself look absolutely terrible in them, and then I'm not gonna worry. I'm gonna eat some protein and not starve myself when I get out to dinner.
So try, take a bunch of photos. Take some like take some slouch, take some not slouch. Like you don't have to have only 3.
Oh,
Take like 10.
I'll take loads. I take like 300 thumbnails for every video, so I can I can do photos.
Yeah. And then I need photos of like what's in your gym.
Yep.
Start logging some food, and in a couple days, we can get together and start to put together a program. Maybe in the meantime, if you're gonna film our get-togethers, get me those photos and get me your schedule and how long you can work out beforehand, so I can already have something prepared.
Yep.
For you and make things a lot easier.
Amazing. I will do all of those things. Thank you so much. This has been so much fun, and I feel inspired to start my transformation journey.
Yeah. So the next time we chat, I'll probably in my gym.
Yeah.
Over to work on the program.
Yeah, and you can make me puke maybe. Who knows?
Yes, sir.
I can be the Tarek 2.0 or whatever.
Yeah, Tariq 2.0. You seriously look like him. I think it's hilarious.
Yeah, I need to watch more of that video because I was like, bloody hell.
You look like Tariq when I first met him. So he's
okay, great. And now he's at a powerlifting meet, so maybe that'll be me one day.
So there's hope for you.
Exactly. And I'll let you know when Gymshark come knocking. So,
they will.
One of these days.
Knocking.
Amazing.
They'll be like, we need one natural athlete, and we think you're the guy. You're like, here I am.
This is me. Yeah, I'm a doctor as well. I don't believe in gear. Cool. Anything you would like to share with the audience as like a final thing?
Well, if so, one thing that I'm actually pushing for right now is I've peaked. My interest has been piqued in doing a challenge, an MTV challenge. Have you ever seen that show before?
MTV challenge? No. What is that?
So there's a TV show called The Challenge.
Okay.
If you go to their Instagram page, Challenge MTV. So basically, if you were on The Real World, you get to go on the challenge show, and it's like a huge test of like strength and endurance, and also there's a social aspect to it because you have to live with people and then work with them and later probably betray them to win. So it's like a really cool thing. So I was asked to do it like 10 years ago, but I ended up not doing it because I was in the middle of moving from New York back to Boston and starting my YouTube channel, and then things kind of took off, and so I didn't have time. But now, like, I really want to do one, so I've been kind of campaigning and commenting. So if everybody goes to Challenge MTV Instagram and just starts dropping comments like, when is Scott from Real World Brooklyn going to be here and whoop everyone's ass? Like, talk all kinds of smack. I don't care what you say.
Yeah.
I'm already been talking to producers. I'm already like in the pool.
Yeah.
But it's like anything else. It's a political game of who gets picked.
Sick.
So I've been raising awareness lately and talking smack to people. I think it's funny.
Wait, so what I'm writing? When is Scott from where?
Real World Brooklyn.
From Real World Brooklyn. What is Real World Brooklyn?
That was my show.
Oh, yeah, cool.
So do you know what that show is? Do you not know what The Real World is?
No, never heard of it. Like, what is it?
So
is it like an American thing?
It was like one of the very first reality TV shows ever made besides Cops. Where basically you take 7 people, you put them in a house, and you record what happens for 3 months. And you basically, kill each other or get along. So my season was season 21, 2009. So it was actually the same year Barack Obama got elected. So that was even in our show. I didn't vote for him. But anyways, so...
Ooh, we can't be friends.
One of my roommates, so my season was very impactful because we were the first season that didn't have usually you have like a team job.
Right.
And then that causes like a lot of drama. So we were all picked to live in Brooklyn because we were all pursuing careers in New York City. I was pursuing modeling and acting. I had roommates that were pursuing writing, Broadway, hosting, stuff like that. And on our season, we had the first transgender castmate. And that was super interesting because I was, from a small town. I didn't even know that was possible. So my roommates were like, she used to be a guy. I'm like, you guys are crazy.
Yeah.
That's not possible. Anyways, so I learned a lot about the LGBT community and actually became a big supporter for the LGBT community as well as like transgender rights and equality because her story was amazing. And then one of our other roommates, Ryan, was an Iraq veteran. And when Obama got elected, he was so happy because he thought that he would never. He had a book of like photos he took while he was there. There's a lot of like really disturbing images in that book, like IEDs where people got blown up and like body parts on the street. Like he went through some trauma over there. He actually wrote a book, Angel of Fire, I think it was called. Ryan was his name. If you guys want to look him up, Ryan Conklin. So he like bought an Uncle Sam costume and he was like dancing in the streets, you know, like so happy Obama got elected. And then literally 2 weeks later on the show got the call that he had to go back to Iraq. And he was like devastated from it. So like the season, you know, we had like our bullshit and fighting, and like part of the season was like boys versus girls, and we would play pranks in the girls. Like we put a rat in one of their beds because she was, you know, being a douchebag, and the girls like would never clean their like food. So I took all of the dishes and silverware and locked them in a cabinet because they weren't cleaning their dishes. Like, so obviously like the fun, you know, the funny, stupid stuff, but that, you know, there was also a lot of like heartfelt moments too. And that's what made the season, you know, so memorable, was because of, you know, dealing with real situations, like with Caitlin, you know, her struggles, and Ryan getting called back to Iraq. It was pretty cool.
Damn.
Maybe I'll send you the link. Actually, I recently put the entire season on a Google Drive to send to my castmates.
Yeah, I'd love to check it out. That sounds like it would actually be pretty good.
Dude, my daughter just watched it the other day. She's like, because I put it on my Plex server, and she's like, I'm watching your season. I was like, oh god.
This would have been like 11 years ago. Damn, long time ago.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Wow.
So like, I want to go on the challenge and just like whoop all these like younger dudes' asses, especially like because they're like my daughter's age. My daughter's 20. I'm like, you're my
no
daughter's
way.
age. Yeah.
Your daughter's 20. So how old are you?
So, I'm 36. So my daughter is my stepdaughter.
Oh, okay.
But I've been in her life since she was 11. Her dad's still around.
Right.
Okay. But she lives with me and my wife.
Okay.
So I mean, I call her my daughter.
Oh,
like,
fair
I
enough. I was gonna be like, whoa, okay. Yeah.
But anyways,
I was doing the math in my head, thinking like, how did that happen?
I mean, I like being a dad. You know, I've taught her a lot of stuff. Dude, she's hardcore too. Like you should see when she was dating. She has a boyfriend now. She actually met a really nice guy. Dude, I taught her how to be a savage. Like guys would send her messages, and she sees right through the BS, calls them out on their BS. And it's awesome to see. My wife's like, you're too mean. You're not going to find it. No guy's going to like you. I'm like, she only needs to find one guy. And if she's mean to all the douchebags, I don't care. So sweet.
Nice.
And she drives the manual. She's badass.
Oh yeah, that's an unusual thing in the US, isn't it? Whereas in the UK, everyone drives a manual. It's weird to drive an automatic.
Yeah. It's crazy. Like, I used to make fun of her because she did not want to drive stick shift. She's like, I don't want to do it. I'm scared, whatever. And I would say to her, I go, Crystal, I go, if you ever get abducted or kidnapped, and the only way for you to escape is a bicycle or a stick shift car, you can't do either one of those things. So you're screwed. And if you do manage to ride the bike, you're going to get caught from the car anyways. So you need to know how to drive.
That's reasonable life advice. Useful to drive stick shift.
I'm a little extreme, in case you haven't, realized. From
I got that impression just a little bit. Okay, fantastic stuff. Thank you so much, Scott, for taking the time. And guys, thank you for listening. This is awesome. This has been really fun. We still have 448 people watching, which is very unusual for one of these live streams, which is awesome. And guys, check out links to all of Scott's stuff in the video description. So
I better see if I see 448 comments on the most recent challenge post, that'll pay for me training Ali.
Nice. I've put in one of the comments already. As I've said, when is Scott from? Where does it say it?
Did you tag me, Scott Herman Fitness?
Oh no, I should do that as well.
Yeah,
Hang on, I'll put another one. When is at Scott Herman Fitness coming on the show? Question mark, question mark. We're all waiting for it. Nice. Okay.
You type pretty fast. I type fast too, if you didn't know.
Oh, you do?
Oh yeah. Well, because I'm a gamer. So like, do you ever hear of a game like Ultima Online? It's kind of like it's like an online MMORP, right? Multiplayer online. So like, if you were getting killed, you would have to like talk as much shit as you could before you died.
Yep. So you have to like
like I don't even type like this. I literally have like two fingers I use, and I'm just like just like
okay, so
I type so fast.
One of my most viral videos that has like 3 million views is a video about how I type really fast. So you and I should definitely do a collab where we do a typing battle.
Let me ask you a question. Can
Yeah.
you type on your iPhone without looking at the keyboard too?
Sometimes, not very
Yeah,
often.
like
I don't do it. I don't do it very much. What about you? Can you do that?
yeah, like I've literally been driving, and you guys in the plane, and I'm like looking at the road, and
Yeah.
I'm like, then I get to a light, and I'm like, oh shit, I typed everything correctly.
Okay, we should do sort of a typing test with a proper keyboard and also with an iPhone then, because then that would be interesting.
Yeah, that would be a
and
lot
then
of fun.
and then we can share our tips for typing faster because the audience always seems to love that.
It's just repetition, man. Like it's just repetition.
Exactly, spaced repetition. Love it. All right, cheers, Scott. Thanks everyone for
Cheers.
joining, and we'll catch you later.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.